Welcome to Tokyo Wave, recorded in a live studio in Harajuku, Japan, with your hosts Aaron and Parker. Alright everyone, welcome to episode 130 of Tokyo Wave. We are your hosts Aaron Randall
and Parker Allen. On Tokyo Wave, we bring you weekly updates from our studio in Harajuku.
Join us in segments featuring this week's top news,
political happenings,
business,
and other random garbage.
To get us started, here are this week's top news highlights.
China wary Japan establishes new military base on southwest Ishigaki Island.
Hotels in Western Japan urged not to request foreign residents' ID.
Japanese language school warned after calling Ukrainian students, quote, refugee aristocrats.
This week in Japan. Alright, so our first story. China wary Japan establishes new military base on southwest Ishigaki Island.
The Mainichi has reported that Japan's ground self-defense force began operating out of a newly established base on the country's southwestern island of Ishigaki, Okinawa Prefecture on March the 16th.
The new base is the fourth in the Nansei Islands to be established off the main island of Okinawa. The other three are on Kagoshima Prefecture's Anami-Oshima Island and the islands of Miyako and Yonaguni in Okinawa Prefecture.
For Japan, increasingly wary of China, the base is a likely future host for long-range surface-to-ship missiles. Around 570 troops are stationed on the base. Its missile unit possesses surface-to-air missiles and truck-mounted Type 12 surface-to-ship missiles to deter China's military ships and aircraft passing through nearby waters and airspace. The base's security unit is tasked with taking initial action in response to disasters or military threats.
The Nansei Islands stretch some 1,200 kilometers from Yonaguni in the southwest to the Osami Islands in the northeast, just off the southern coast of Japan's third largest island of Kyushu. China considers the islands to be part of its basic line of defense, extending to the Philippines and the South China Sea, against the United States in the event of a war over Taiwan.
Until 2016, when the base on Yonaguni was established, the ground self-defense forces' only bases in the region were on Okinawa Island. This was followed by the opening of bases on Amami-Oshima and Miyako Islands in 2019. The Defense Ministry plans to build another new base on Kagoshima's Mageshima Island, as well as reinforce the Ground Self-Defense Force's 15th Brigade on Okinawa Island, moving up its classification to a division. The Ground Force's Type 12 missile unit is already active on Miyako and Amami-Oshima Islands and will work from Okinawa's main island as well starting fiscal 2023.
Japan's government plans to improve the Type 12 missiles, giving them the ability to strike back at enemy bases by expanding their range from some 200 to over 1,000 kilometers after fiscal 2026. The improved missiles will likely be readied at a base that currently hosts a missile unit, such as the new base on Ishigaki Island.
At a February press conference regarding the new base, Minister of Defense Yasukazu Hamada said, quote, by heightening our ability to deter and respond to attacks in the Nansei Islands region, the new base will reduce the likelihood of an attack on our country.
Before the base opened, Okinawa residents took to the streets in Naha, Ishigaki, and other cities to protest the military buildup in the area and elsewhere. Many have expressed the fear that Okinawa will once again turn into a battlefield.
Okinawa Governor Deni Tamaki commented, quote, I would like the government to respond to Okinawa residents' concerns and politely explain things such as the base's effect on their lives, its safety, and whether it hosts counterattack capabilities.
Yeah, it's kind of no surprise that the citizens of Okinawa are taking to the streets. It's a very sensitive topic. Anytime I talk to someone from Okinawa, they usually express, it's either black or white, very anti having the U.S. military base there, or it's the opposite. They're very worried about China, so they're glad the base is there.
Well, looking at it from a purely tax revenue perspective, the Japanese government basically pays Okinawa and Okinawans for land and other costs related to the military presence there.
Really?
And so, for instance, if there were no military, no US, no Japan military installations whatsoever on Okinawa, their finances would be depleted.
Do they get like a monthly stipend or something? Or
there are several programs related to the hosting of bases on Okinawa, and the amount of economic impact is huge.
Wow, I had no idea.
Yeah, fun fact. Okinawans hate the bases, but the bases are the basis for the Okinawan economy.
Very interesting.
Up next, hotels in Western Japan urged not to request foreign residents' ID.
Kyoto News has reported that the government in the Western Japan prefecture of Kagawa has called on local hotel operators to stop asking foreign residents for identification when they check in.
Citing a source by the Kagawa prefectural government to hotel operators, officials said that it is, quote, problematic on human rights grounds to ask foreign residents to show their passport or other forms of ID when checking into a hotel.
The hotel business law requires only foreigners who live outside of Japan to present ID, but hotel receptionists sometimes ask foreigners who live in Japan for ID based on their name or appearance.
And this is a huge issue among foreign residents because some people really do not like giving their ID to hotels. Sometimes they photocopy your ID.
And, they always do.
Yeah, and why?
Yeah, why are they photocopying your private? I mean, Japanese people get all up and, angry about, privacy and stuff, right?
Yeah, like my number cards and whatnot.
Yeah, but
for foreigners, it's like, what's your name and identification number, grunt?
They take 3 copies in the back and they're like in that office for like, God knows how long.
Yeah. They probably fax it to their friends. Look at, we bagged another one.
That's actually a huge security problem because there's a huge business in using the Zairyu Kado, the residence card. You probably know about this. Other countries will steal that information and make fake copies of it. So if all these hotels have like a crap ton, potentially thousands, and they have like a data leak or something, those hackers can just use that information to make new fake cards.
Yeah, you just made me really not want to give my ID to hotels anymore.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's like, I have an address in Japan. If you look at my address, you can tell that, it's a house that I own.
How much of a shit show would it be, though, if like 3 other random dudes like had the exact same information on their Zairyu Kado? I mean, imagine like being at the police station, like, we had a guy last week that had the same info. What's this? It's like, that would just be a nightmare.
Yeah, and it's great that the Kagawa prefectural government has done something about this, but honestly, something needs to be done at the national level.
All right, and up next, Japanese language school warned after calling Ukrainian students, quote, refugee aristocrats.
The Mainichi has also reported that a Japanese language school operator whose chairman called some Ukrainian students, quote, refugee aristocrats in connection with a fees dispute was given administrative guidance. This was announced by Gunma's governor, Ichita Yamamoto, on March 16th.
At a news conference that day, Yamamoto revealed that the Gunma prefectural government had advised Maebashi-based school operator Nippon Academy to strengthen and improve its administrative governance. It determined that Nippon Academy chairman Masumi Shimizu's remarks toward some of the Ukrainian evacuees studying at the school were inappropriate.
Some of the Ukrainian students raised objections over the language school's fees, saying that the school had demanded payment for a period that they had originally been informed was free. In response, Shimizu called the students, quote, refugee aristocrats and robbers at a news conference in February.
Just shaking my head right now.
What an asshole.
Man.
Screw that guy.
Yep. So Gunma Prefecture demanded in writing on March 15th that Nippon Academy make an improvement plan by March 22nd, pointing out that the School Education Act requires that operators of specialized training schools have, quote, social trust. Shimizu has apparently apologized for his remarks in a prefectural probe.
The prefectural government also announced that there are students who want to continue studying Japanese after leaving Nippon Academy. It said it will introduce universities and other Japanese language schools in the prefecture that can accept students and distribute single payments of 100,000 yen, which is about 750 USD, to each student set to newly enroll. It will cooperate with the city of Maebashi, which plans to provide similar aid and continue to offer housing and assist with the evacuees' living expenses.
According to the prefectural government, a hearing by the Immigration Services Agency of Japan found that a number of students wished to continue studying Japanese, while others claimed emotional damage. Officials are also set to enhance the prefecture's consultation systems.
Yeah, you know, Gunma Prefecture, led by Governor Ichita Yamamoto, who is a firebrand himself, I'm sure had a large role in bringing lots of the evacuees to Gunma Prefecture.
Okay.
But seeing things like this, of course, ends up being bad news for the prefecture and makes everybody look bad. So it's really unfortunate that this happened because Gunma's a great place. There are a lot of foreign residents, and there's really sort of a history of lots of foreigners living in Gunma because of the manufacturing industry.
Yeah.
You know, there's a huge Brazilian population in Ota City in Gunma.
Oh, really?
Yes, that's where, I forget the car maker, but there's a massive auto production plant. Maybe it's Honda? I'm blanking, but...
It is shocking to hear that the Japanese language school had these kinds of remarks. I mean, I myself went to a Japanese language school, and it was filled with, you know, people from all over the world, and I could see how sometimes maybe some of the Japanese teachers could have gotten frustrated and said some, like, you know, very terrible things. But one thing I really appreciated about the teachers at this school and teachers at other Japanese language schools is they're so patient normally. And I think those kinds of language schools tend to attract people that are very open-minded, patient Japanese, really wonderful Japanese people. So yeah, hearing that this kind of language came from a place like that is really shocking.
You know, it's funny that you mentioned that. I studied Japanese at International Christian University, which I strongly believe has the best Japanese language program in Japan. Mm-hmm. And the teachers there, the way they teach, the methodology is amazing. Mm-hmm. It's extremely difficult, but it is super good.
Yeah.
But in my third year of university, I transferred to Sophia University, and I wanted to start taking classes taught in the Japanese language. Mm-hmm. And in order to do that, I needed special permission from the head of the Japanese program. Mm-hmm. And so I had a meeting with her, and we spoke, you know, briefly, and she said, "Your Japanese is not good enough. You need to go to this class." And I'm like, I've already passed out of, you know, all of the advanced Japanese language classes at ICU. I don't accept this. And so we got into a bit of a war of words. And then I was infuriated by the fact that I couldn't take all of these awesome classes taught by other faculties that I was eligible to take because I was at the Faculty of Liberal Arts, where you can study basically anything. And so I went to the dean of the faculty and I complained. And I was like, this is completely unacceptable. And then he looked at me and he said, well, there is this policy that we have, but you can also just register for the courses on the online system. And if you do that and you pass the class, you'll get the credit.
I remember a long time you told me you found like this like shortcut or like workaround to get into the real Japanese.
To this day, former dean of the Sophia University Faculty of Liberal Arts, Yoshitaka Okada, you are an awesome dude.
That's awesome. You know, I actually faced something similar at the university I was at in Japan, but I didn't fight it. I just said screw it, because like I had a lot of Chinese classmates and whatnot too, and they were explaining kind of like the outlook. This was grad school in Japan, right? And grad school is very different here. So I just quit. I gave up.
Yeah, that's just, some schools are good and some schools are weird, and some schools have ridiculous policies that you can work around if you're complaining enough about it.
Yeah.
Actually, later after I graduated from Sophia, I invited Okada Sensei to my wedding.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's still a good friend.
Damn. Well, yeah, I guess in a way he did help really change your life trajectory, you know?
He saved my bacon. I was able to take classes on like Japanese corporate law and consumer behavior and leadership, and it was awesome. I mean, honestly, even while, at the time my Japanese wasn't that great and I didn't always make such great grades in the Japanese taught classes, it's such a great opportunity to have to learn in Japanese.
And do it in like domain specific areas, like in a subject, Yeah,
you learn all these new terminologies and you have to learn how to write notes in Japanese.
Yeah.
It was... the experience of a lifetime.
That's awesome. All right, and up next on Yen and Bill, y'all, we're going to be talking about SoftBank and other Japanese firms move to limit ChatGPT use.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're listening to Tokyo Wave.
Yen and Bill, y'all.
So while interactive AI promises greater efficiency, some Japanese firms are worried about the risks of sensitive data leaks.
ChatGPT had over 100 million users in January, just 2 months after its release. There was even a South Park episode about it.
Which is apparently really funny. Did you watch it?
I have seen clips from it, and it is amazing. These guys... the whole thing's about ChatGPT, and there's so many developers trying to come up with like apps that can utilize ChatGPT. In the episode, they've got like 10 amazing use cases. One of them has already been turned into an app, and it's like really popular in America now. It helps you respond to annoying texts that you get from like friends and your girlfriend or boyfriend, whatever. There's a really, really good sequence on this in the show.
Wow.
Yeah.
South Park is making people money with ChatGPT.
He's like, you could just copy the message, paste, get the response, paste again, done. And he starts, this one guy, he's like, I guess he's in a relationship, and he's just very, very quickly showing Kyle how you can just like use ChatGPT to generate all the responses.
Wow.
Yeah.
Nikkei Asia recently reported that Japanese companies, including SoftBank and Hitachi, have begun to restrict the use of the interactive artificial intelligence services such as ChatGPT in business operations over fears of information leaks and other concerns.
SoftBank warned employees last month over the use of ChatGPT and other business applications, saying, quote, "Do not enter company identifiable information or confidential data."
While guidelines for the use of cloud services such as interactive AI had already been in place, the rules were repeated in light of the increased attention that chatbots have received recently.
SoftBank plans to establish rules that govern which operations can use the technology and what applications can be used.
Yeah, SoftBank is so good with technology, like making that Pepper robot that suddenly disappeared from existence.
Yeah, and now they're pretty much anti-AI, it seems.
Yeah, and they lost all of the money from the Vision Fund because they pumped it all into WeWork, and now WeWork's in the toilet.
I guess their vision is gone and they can't really see a future in AI while every other country is jumping at the bit to use this technology.
Maybe SoftBank should use ChatGPT to give it investment suggestions.
ChatGPT, it's really good at that. It's hard to get it to give you the actual response, but I've seen some stuff on that, like diversifying a portfolio or a business, creating new business ideas and stuff. Like if you only have $5,000 or $500, what kind of business can you make? And there's a lot of YouTube videos on this.
That's crazy. I can just imagine like Masayoshi Son typing into ChatGPT, this is Masayoshi Son. Where should I invest my venture capital money? And ChatGPT says, Son-san, you are an idiot.
Yeah. Is this the real Son from SoftBank? Yes, you are an idiot. One note on confidential data and companies worried about it. The funny thing is, if you give ChatGPT like a shit ton of your actual private data, the answers become so good. Like, especially when you get like the technical stuff, right? Like maybe, like say you're a developer and you're making an app. If you give it 10,000 lines of code from your app, and then you ask it a question, how do you build this? It will base its answer off of all the data you've given it. So I can definitely see some employees at big companies like SoftBank just copy paste all the company data from a Google Doc or something, and ChatGPT instantaneously will be able to use that to make the answers that much better. So
whoa,
yeah,
I could definitely see potential security concerns over that, and I can also see Microsoft like releasing a corporate version of it that's super expensive that will force the companies to basically have like this more expensive version of like the Office suite.
Yeah, no, for sure. The current ChatGPT Plus, they promise not to use your data to improve ChatGPT's functionality. So if you use that, supposedly they're not going to like use your data. But as you said, Microsoft is working on a bunch of different products right now for B2B. So I'm sure it's very there's already a lot of third-party solutions out there for this.
Oh
as well.
yeah, and Microsoft is like probably just like, I mean, I'm sure. Does Bill Gates still have a bunch of shares in Microsoft, or did he sell them all?
He just bought $10 million. I forgot how much. He just put a shit ton of money into Microsoft just recently.
Really?
Because of all this. Yeah. So he's been very like, hands-off philanthropist. But because of all this open AI buzz and Microsoft acquiring them, he's been investing more money back into Microsoft.
That sounds like insider trading.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I mean, he's definitely privy to a lot of information that we don't have, I'm sure, because he's the guy who made the companies.
I could just imagine like the SEC like raiding his massive house, and like he's like, on the phone with like, some, UN agency, and all of a sudden they come in and they're like, we need to speak with you, Mr. Gates. It's like Wolf of Wall Street,
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, it is kind of crazy. Yeah.
If I was the SEC, I would be like, come on, we got to find an excuse to raid Bill Gates' house. Because those guys, I mean, they must be like...
Yeah.
Maybe they're not that fun. I don't know.
Well, in The Wolf of Wall Street, they made him out to be, it was the FBI, but they made him out to be the totally not fun guys, right? Yeah, but it is kind of wild. And I didn't even think about that kind of unfairness that Bill Gates has, but probably legally he's allowed to, hear about all this new stuff and make investments as he pleases. I don't know.
Who knows? Well, I guess we'll find out in the coming months.
For sure.
So ChatGPT can collect data and generate programs based on simple written instructions, as Aaron just explained. This can make operations more efficient and increase productivity, which is obviously why employees would want to use this kind of technology to save time. And of course, why companies that have a stick up their ass are paranoid about their employees using it for business purposes.
Yeah. So on March 1st, the developer OpenAI released an application programming interface API, which allows companies to integrate ChatGPT into their services for a fee. The data collected from the service will not be used to improve performance, says the developers.
However, the ChatGPT website suggests that when the service is used for free, quote, we may use the data you provide us to improve our models. So in this case, entered information such as products under development could be used in response to questions by other people or other companies.
And, you know, as I was just kind of mentioning a second ago, a lot of people use ChatGPT right now to come up with business ideas, right? So you can imagine, I really wouldn't be surprised if SoftBank, NEC, all these big Japanese companies, if they are giving it their data, even American companies, whatever, this is a large language model, right? It's going to look at that. And if someone's like, what's a good business idea? Oh, well, I just got all this SoftBank data. So maybe based off of this, I can give you some better insights, you know? So I wouldn't be surprised if it's already in the, you know, kind of minutia of ChatGPT and might be, you know, reflected in some of the responses being given to regular users.
So basically, ChatGPT will destroy both Google and all of the large companies.
Yeah.
It's like anarchy.
It's crazy. You know, I think everyone thought, and maybe we talked about this before, everyone thought AI was going to automate a lot of the manual labor-based jobs, right? Like delivery personnel, truck drivers, etc. It's turning out, though, that, and, you know, developers argue it's not going to replace us soon. But really, the thing that the thing that ChatGPT is best at right now is writing code. It's got a codex model that people have been using GitHub Copilot for a while. This is the thing that you write code in. And like you just literally tell it, like, write a function that does X, Y, Z. And you can give it really difficult instructions. And it's amazing at writing code. So funny enough, like it's kind of the exact opposite, right, of the people that it's going to automate out of the workforce first, in my opinion, which is the more technical people, the software programmers and engineers.
Maybe Elon Musk also got that inside information, and that's why there was those massive layoffs at Twitter.
Maybe that's why he bought Twitter in the first place, you know?
To make everything run on ChatGPT.
Yeah. Get into media, you know, get into social media. I don't know.
What a weird world we live in, Aaron.
It wouldn't surprise me. He's also privy to a lot of information way before, you know, things actually happen. So he was one of the initial investors in OpenAI.
No shit.
Yeah.
Oh, more money for Elon.
So Hitachi will consider establishing new ethical rules for its use of interactive AI and whether data is used correctly. The company intends to flesh out guidelines for AI utilization established in 2021.
Technology group Fujitsu notified employees last month about legal and ethical issues, including information protection regarding ChatGPT and other interactive AI services. A unit has been established to make decisions on the use of AI. Ooh, a unit.
In February 2022, it established a governance office to handle ethical issues in the development and business use of products incorporating AI. It will alert the public to the risks of interactive AI through this office.
I think the office needs a name. It should be the GPT unit.
I think you're the first person I've heard to say the ChatGPT unit. Wow. If that domain is available, we should buy that.
Yeah, we need grills.
ChatGPT is really good at writing rap lyrics.
Oh my God.
Like, it's amazing. Like, you can tell it, write a rap song about this glass of whiskey in the style of Tupac, in the style of Drake, in the style of Eminem. And it is so good. I mean, because it's text generation is its core thing, right? And it rhyming too. You can even tell it, this new GPT-4 just came out yesterday. You can do it with GPT-4. You can tell it to write rap lyrics, and every word has to begin with Q, for example. It is insane, dude. And like if you read, I was going through the Drake one, the Eminem one, the Tupac one, Biggie, and all that. It sounds like them. It's really good at emulating their rhyme and their rap style.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Just aside, if you want to get the ChatGPT unit website.
Yeah, that actually, I think you just had $1 million idea right there, Aaron.
We need to get some
ChatGPT unit.
Not even a website. You know, there's a lot of AI rap voices that you can use, and then you can feed like the rap voices, text, and it will rap for you. I think I showed you that track I made a while ago that used it's a singing voice called Solaria, but it's a Japanese company who made it. And you can, you have to do a lot of programming, but with the rap stuff, get ChatGPT to write it in a certain style, copy paste it into the voice generating AI program, and bam.
Wow. This is mind-blowing technology.
There's too many.
This is really the biggest sort of boost in like actual usable like technology that affects people's lives. I mean, it's like, it almost feels like this is like the biggest thing since the iPhone.
Yeah. And I will tell you, everyone that I've told about this, talked about ChatGPT to, regardless of what their profession is, they find a way to integrate it into either like just for entertainment purposes or to really help with their work. My brother-in-law is a doctor, and he started asking it to do the rhyme. He's really into rap music and stuff too. So he was having it like make different like rhymes and raps based off like goofy shit. But then he started asking it scientific questions, and he's like, holy shit, this thing's amazing. And I don't think he's using it for work exactly, but it just goes to show that no matter what background you come from, this is a really powerful tool. I mean, even if you don't use the response 100% in the work that you're doing, it's almost like it's like having a person to literally bounce ideas off of and get instant feedback.
So Microsoft saw daily users of its Bing search engine surpass 100 million for the first time ever, a month after introducing interactive AI to the service last month. The use of this technology in corporate operations is also expected to increase significantly.
However, there are fears that come with more people and companies using interactive AI. The technology could spread false information and spur data leaks, leading some companies to ban its use.
Mizuho Financial Group, MUFG Bank, and Sumitomo Mitsui Banking have already prohibited the use of ChatGPT and other services in operations. Mizuho has restrictions to prevent employees from accessing the site from work terminals in order to, quote, prevent the leakage of important information such as customer and financial transactions due to improper use by employees. Mizuho Bank, maybe you should ask ChatGPT to make your bank system work because it's crashed like 5 times.
You know what's funny? This is the thing that ChatGPT really excels at too. Like if Mizuho just copied it, they probably have reports, like crash reports, right? That have like the qualitative and quantitative data for all that stuff. If they just copy pasted those PDF links to ChatGPT, be like, hey, how can we better our services to make it so we don't crash more? I guarantee you ChatGPT could give it some very valuable answers.
And they'll never get those answers because Mizuho is backwards.
IT company NEC Corp also forbids employees from using ChatGPT.
Oh yeah, it's an IT company. Of course they're not going to use new technology?
I guess that's the way things are going for Japan.
Uh-huh. Atsuhiro Goto of the Institute of Information Security's graduate school said, quote, "Interactive AI, which can easily be used on personal computers, makes employees less cautious, and there is a risk that confidential data could be entered and used unexpectedly outside the company." He also said the services should be tested by a dedicated in-house team to clarify rules on usage and what information may be entered.
Panasonic Connect, a group company of Panasonic Holdings, has begun using interactive AI to create documents after taking measures to prevent data leaks and other problems. To reduce the risk of data leaks, it entered an agreement with Microsoft, the joint developer of the software, not to use content for secondary purposes such as AI training.
Panasonic Connect employees have also been warned not to enter personal information.
So this is very interesting. I have some very tech-savvy Japanese friends that I was speaking with about the software last night, and not just the security risks, but ChatGPT tends to give answers that sound very convincing, but are wildly incorrect. And I think for Japanese users especially, there's a security issue, from the Japanese company side or Japan Inc. side. But on a more personal level, Japanese people don't like the fact that it seems convincing, but there's no fact-checking, function inside of it, which I think is an opportunity maybe for developers to make something like that, especially for the market here.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think there's going to be so many business opportunities that come out of ChatGPT. I just want to use it to write rap lyrics now.
I think we should do that, and
for the ChatGPT unit!
Maybe I can work on the beat, and maybe Tokyo Wave will have a new rap song coming out soon.
Can we get gold chains?
Why not?
All right. It's decided.
Hey, listeners, that's right. You listener right there.
Who do you think should be our next guest on Tokyo Wave? Let us know. Drop us a line at wave@tokyowave.jp or hit us up on Twitter.
We hope you enjoyed Tokyo Wave.
If you haven't already, you can subscribe to our podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, SoundCloud, and YouTube.
Join us again next week on Tokyo Wave.